Alright guys, this is the very first part of the story, the first part of this interactive spooky story that I'm going to be doing. So, number one here, story takes place in a forest, a forested area. It's fall and the leaves have just fallen off the most of the trees and have blanketed the ground. If we peek through the trees, there's a small pathway. Small pathway leads up the middle, and the trees run parallel to the pathway. The path ducks left, ducks right, goes around the bend, and then in an open area of the forest section, there's a small cabin. The small cabin is away from of the rest of society, the rest of civilization. There is no other houses nearby. The nearest house to the cabin is Farmer Thompson's farm, which is about 2 miles away. The cabin is very secluded and very covered and sheltered by the rest of the forested area. We go up into the path that leads up to the house, and there's a single light downstairs. Inside the house, there is a small kitchen and a small living room in front of a fire. Sitting in a chair placed in front of the fireplace is an old man. The old man lives alone, and from the sign of the rest of the cabin, it looks like he's lived on his own for a while. The cabin itself has been very unkept. Dust has settled on most of the fireplace, mantle, the tables. The old man is sitting in front of a fireplace. It appears as if he had been reading some papers, but had been upset with what he had read, and the papers had fallen to the ground. The old man is sitting in his chair. He's enjoying a bowl of soup, and he's eating it with his spoon, looking off, kind of staring, blank look on his face, staring out into the fire, and it looks like he's deep in thought, and he's enjoying his soup. The soup consists of potatoes and carrots. There was chunks of meat in the soup, but he had since finished those, and he's looking at the fireplace. He happens to look up above the fireplace, and he notices a few things above the mantle that catches his attention. And as his mind wanders and he thinks about the stuff that's on the mantle, and as he's looking at the different pictures of things, something catches his attention upstairs, and he turns around to see if something is upstairs, and he notices a single light is on upstairs from one of the rooms. This puzzles the man because he hadn't been upstairs all night, and he had spent most of his night in front of the fire. So the fact that the light is on again puzzles him. So he puts his bowl of soup down, and he dusts off some of the food that had settled on his shirt, and he puts his slippers on. And he makes sure he puts his soup down on the side table. He picks himself up from the chair, forgetting unfortunately that he left his glasses on the table. So his vision isn't as good as it was, or what it should be. And because of that, he has to kind of feel his way upstairs. To make out, to find out why there is a light upstairs. He gets to the very top of the stairs, and he opens the door for the room, and the room is empty. There's no one inside, and he goes over, he turns the light off, and again, he's puzzled as to why the light was even on in the first place. As he turns the light off and he goes to exit the room, and he goes to shut the door again, something outside catches his attention, and he turns around once again, and he walks to the very end of the room where there's a small window. The small window hasn't been cleaned in a while, so it's got dust and debris on it, and he goes up to the window, and the moonlight is clearly lighting the backyard of his cabin, or the back area of his cabin. And so he walks over to the window and he wipes away some of the dust and debris that's in the window, or on the windowsill and on the glass, and he peers outside the window, and when he does, he spots, and that's the end of part 1, guys. So part 2 is now up to you to continue this story. The one that I like the most, I will upload on this feature video section of my channel here, and then we'll go from there. So there you have part 1, guys. Let's get this interactive and let's see what you guys can come up with. Woo!